Well, if you look at this chart in the Honda Common Service Manual, you'll see that at small throttle openings, 1/8 of a quarter throttle opening, that 3 different systems are supplying fuel. The pilot jet or idle system here, the slow speed jet system here, and the needle jet on the vacuum slide is starting to open, and it's also supplying fuel. So here we have this 3 different systems, all capable of causing poor throttle response and rough running at small throttle openings. So I'm trying to chase down this roughness at 3,000 to 4,000 RPM, and when I'm driving it, there's rideability and tractability issues when I'm lazing along at low RPMs between 3,000 and 4,000, and I crack the throttle open a little bit, which is what you're doing in the twisties and in the parking lot whenever you need throttle finesse and very accurate speed control. That's where it's screwing up. So now I've got to chase down the cause of the problem. Although this is a diagram for a slide type carburetor, the constant velocity carburetor will work the same. So you see over here, here's a slow jet. This is a fixed jet, and there's 2 air passages in here, one that goes over to the needle jet and one that goes over to the main jet, and there's the air screw, and it gets some air through that passage too. So if there is a foreign object or algae or something clogging these air passages right at the mouth of the carburetor, that can screw up the fuel metering through the low speed and jet, the slow jet, and also through the needle jet, which is the slow speed part of the needle on the slide. And this air screw is also the pilot screw on our carburetors, and if that's clogged up, that can also cause problems. The thing is running okay at full throttle, high throttle, so I'm not concerned about clogs in the main jet. But these are issues to deal with. And one of the things that I want to do is try to do everything I can to try to clean these passages before I remove the carburetor. By removing the air box, I can get at these little passages. They're right at the mouth of the carburetor, and I can, while the engine's running, I can squirt carburetor cleaner through there. And if there's algae or crud in there, it may help blow it out, clean it out, and save me removing the carburetors. The other thing I can do is put some carburetor cleaner in the float bowl, and you know, get a good mix of that in mixed with the fuel, and run that through there with the engine running, and it'll run like crap for a minute or two. But if there's crud in the needle jet or the main jet, it'll help clean it out, unless it's actually a particle, and then you've got to actually take the thing apart, which we're trying to avoid. Alright, this is the same diagram with a medium throttle opening. So as you can see here now, the needle is raised partially, and it's uncovering this air jet and allowing more air to flow through there and to siphon up more fuel. So somewhere in the range between a small throttle opening and a medium throttle opening, we're having fuel flow difficulties, and so we're going to try to clean these passages out without disassembling the carburetor, and if that fails, then we'll have to take it apart. Well, there they are, all the likely culprits. The slow jet, the needle jet, the main jet, the needle jet holder we used to call the emulsion tube, and the pilot screw, or air screw, whichever you choose to call it, same difference. And most likely problem is something clogging a pilot jet screw air passage, something clogging the slow jet, or something clogging the needle jet. So all of those are you can get at with the float bowl cover off. You don't have to take the floats out, but unfortunately you have to take the carburetors out of the motorcycle on this bike to get to any of them. So I will try flushing the float bowl, drain it, put new gas in it, flush some glass through there with a fuel pump, run some carburetor cleaner through there, blow out the air jets from the outside, and see if that will make this thing run right. And if not, we're going to have a carburetor party and remove the carburetors, disassemble them, blow out the passages in the jets, check the float levels, put it back together again. Another wrinkle is the air cutoff valve, and as the vacuum increases, when you shut the throttle, the vacuum increases, it opens this diaphragm and it closes off the airflow to the low-speed jet. And is that right? Yes. Air valve shuts the air mixture to the slow jet. So if that thing is not working properly, it can mess with the airflow to the slow jet, and so we'll have to try to test that. One of the peculiarities of this thing is that there seems to sometimes be a lag, and then the thing will catch up to speed, which may indicate a vacuum leak somewhere. So that's one of the things we'll be checking out when we remove the air box. Another wrinkle is the starting enrichment valve, and this thing just uncovers a passage and lets more gas get sucked up into the intake manifold, and this stupid little valve just closes off a passage and stops the vacuum across that little venturi. And one of the things that's weird about my bike when I'm warming it up is I'll try to set the idle high with the enrichment valve at the choke, and it will hunt. It will be unstable, and I'm not sure if that's indicative of a vacuum leak or a problem with the seating of this thing, or it's just the general goofiness of the slow speed mixture that I'm trying to fix anyway. So I think maybe we'll just take these out, look at them, blow a little cleaner through there, make sure they're not damaged, put them back together. Of course, one more possible problem is a leak in this rubber diaphragm that makes the needle slide go up and down. And I guess if it was assembled wrong, it could possibly have a little tiny leak there, which would make it not follow the throttle the way it should, or not hold at lower throttle openings. It seems to work okay, and I have no idea how one would test that other than taking it apart and looking at it. But I think that's the least likely problem. So in order to do any of this carburetor cleaning with the carbs in the motorcycle, I've got to remove this air box, as we've talked about before. And when I do that, then I get to inspect the rubber boots that connect the carburetors to the cylinder heads, look at the connection of all the vacuum tubes to the carburetors, and see if there's any potential problems there. One thing they never talk about cleaning is this sub-carburetor air box, this little box with a little filter in it underneath the petcock. But the air goes from that to the float chambers, and that has to be clear and clean. And after 31 years and 60,000 miles, who the heck knows? So that's something that we'll be looking at, as well as the connection of all these lines and vacuum lines when we're got the air box off. And right here at the mouth of the carburetor, oopsie, these little holes right here are the inlet jets for those air passages to the low-speed jet, and we'll be shooting some carburetor cleaner in there while the engine is running, in hopes of cleaning those out if they're clogged. That's our big hope right now.